Three principles.
Yeah, Henry from Seattle. I've got three principles in terms of getting closer to the truth. Because we live in the information age, and so sometimes people are not good in discerning what's true and what's false. A lot of people are putting information out on their blogs, Facebook, social media, and it turns out not to be true. A lot of it turns out to be a hoax, so forth. Whether it's on the right, left, in between, it doesn't matter. Here are the three principles that I have to help people, or help anyone, to get closer to the truth. Not necessarily the absolute truth, because sometimes we can never know.
Right.
But here we go. One, it needs to add up. It needs to make sense. Have you ever heard something and then whatever they say, it generates more questions than answers? They think they have the answer, but yet they can't answer some of the simple questions that you may ask them. Okay? So it needs to add up. You can't have something that sounds like 1 + 2 = 4 or something like that.
Basic common sense.
Yeah, basic common sense. Like if you hear something that doesn't make sense and those red flags go up, that could be a clue that that is not the truth. Not necessarily.
If I may, there was a time when this country folk used to visit the city. Right. And when the very first time, like the young person would make the trip alone to the city, right, they go, look, take your country sense with you. If it doesn't sound right.
Exactly. Now, that doesn't mean that it may not be true. Just because something doesn't sound, it could be. But that's just the
first
red
principle
flag.
that you brought up, you apply.
Right.
Correct.
You begin to say, I'm not so sure.
Principle number 2.
Principle number 2. You need to have enough evidence. It's got to be substantial. You can't just have little pieces here and say, well, you see that? I see that thing flying there.
I would say that question everything.
Yeah, question everything.
Right.
You got to have substantial evidence. It's got to be concrete. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a slam dunk. Even if you have circumstantial evidence, you need to be able to say, okay, I'm open to scrutiny. In other words, if I think that this is evidence, people should be able to question you and you can defend it. If you can't do that, then don't be surprised that people are not convicted about what you're saying. And then the third part it's a principle, but it's like sometimes you can even you can pass number 1, you can pass test number 1, or principle number 1, principle number 2, and then get to the point and say, okay, I've got it where it makes sense, I've got enough evidence. Why is it that people are not listening? And that's why, here it is, they don't care. Or they say, how does it affect me? If I say, well, you know what, they're polluting the skies and everything, and people are not listening because they don't think that it affects them, or they don't think that they can make a difference. In other words, they figure, I can't talk to the politicians, I can't talk to the government, I can't talk to the media, they're not going to make a difference, so I don't care. Leave me alone.
Do you think that might have to be a lot to do with the fact that the powers that be have known how to manipulate people for a long time? I mean, it's not that hard. Fear is a motivating factor, but I think what's played into it now is just like people be watching this on a screen, they're going to go to YouTube and be on a screen. We're a screen-addicted, programmed society now.
Right.
So people actually believe what they see on the screen. So if you're working 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, you get home, you're watching 3 hours of TV, half-hour news, you think you know things. What you've been is programmed.
Maybe so, but you got to remember that even with mainstream media, I'm not saying that you trust them completely, but mainstream media, their main motive, their primary motive is making money. And so, yes, they'll get it wrong. But if they were to get it wrong consistently, their ratings are going to go down to 2. Now, there is an exception. I think there's one, and I'll say there's some exceptions where they don't really care so much about the reliability. They just care about their programming or their propaganda.
But who owns them is the one that's calling the real shot.
It's about money.
About the money.
It's about the money.
The only reason I figured this guy was telling me the truth, he stopped by my booth one day, and it's because he would not tell me which major news network he worked for. But when he looked at my work, especially the ones down there with the thing about the media, and he goes, I've been in the editing room for 24 years of a major news network, and the best you're going to ever hear from us is a half-truth to cover a lie. been a pleasure talking to you.
They tend to shape it. Well, how can you got something?
Oh yeah. I'll give you some stuff. Then you can look this up.